What's up everybody? Welcome to RetroGameCrunch. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about a recent purchase that I made from Retro Respawn. They were having a sale on their website, so I decided to jump on over, grab a couple of Switch games. Let's see what I got. So let's look and see what I got. First game I got was Black Future 88. Most of these games are sealed. The Badass from Hell, Hellmut. Alex Kidd, The Miracle World, DX. Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons. And the one that's open is Demon Throttle. I chose these games because they're side-scrollers or they have a top-down view. They're very similar to the NES style games that I grew up with, so I thought they'd be fun and interesting to get back into. Let's look at some gameplay and see how good they are. If you're a fan of cyberpunk aesthetics, intense action, and fast-paced roguelike gameplay, then this game is definitely one you should check out. We're diving into the neon-lit, high-tech world of Black Future 88, a roguelike action platformer that's as challenging as it is visually stunning. Grab your synthwave playlist because we're going full throttle into a dystopian future. In Black Future 88, you're thrust into a grim, neon-soaked future where the world is controlled by a tyrannical megacorporation. Society's under the boot of the oppressive regime, and it's up to you to take them down by fighting your way through a massive skyscraper filled with dangerous enemies, traps, and of course epic bosses. But there's one catch. Each time you die, you start over. Welcome to the world of roguelikes. The game's aesthetic is pure 1980s cyberpunk. Neon lights, futuristic tech, and a world on the brink of collapse. It's a visual experience that feels like stepping into a retro-futuristic dream. And the synthwave soundtrack? It complements this world perfectly, pumping up the intensity and keeping you in the zone. Now let's talk about the gameplay. Black Future 88 is a roguelike, so every run is unique, thanks to procedural generated levels. You never know what you're going to get. Some runs are smoother, while others are absolutely brutal. But that's what makes the game exciting. You'll be navigating through 6 distinct levels, each with its own set of challenges and dangers. At the end of each one, there's a boss fight that'll test your skills and strategy. And here's the kicker. When you die, you lose everything. But you can unlock new characters, weapons, and abilities to make your next run even more exciting. Combat is fast and furious, with a wide variety of weapons like guns, swords, and bombs. You'll need to use your reflexes and precision to take down hordes of enemies, all while dodging their attacks and keeping your cool. You can choose from a bunch of unique characters, each with a different ability, strength, and playstyle. Whether you prefer close combat or ranged attacks, there's a character that fits your playstyle. And as you progress through the game, you'll unlock more characters, making every playthrough feel fresh and different. Plus, as you keep dying and restarting, you'll unlock new upgrades and abilities that'll help make your future runs a little easier. But let's be real, this game is not easy, and that's part of the fun. The challenge in Black Future 88 is real. With its permadeath mechanic and procedural generated levels, the difficulty constantly ramps up. Every run forces you to adapt, and it's this sense of progression and challenge that keeps you coming back for more. But that's the nature of a roguelike, right? Each failure is a learning experience, and each new run brings the potential for victory. You just have to keep pushing. Black Future 88 has received positive reviews, especially for its aesthetics and intense combat. But, like many roguelikes, it's been critiqued for being a bit repetitive and, of course, challenging as hell. Still, if you're into high-stakes action, it's well worth it. And hey, if you need someone to suffer through it with you, Black Future 88 has a local co-op, so grab a friend and tackle the tower together. To wrap things up, Black Future 88 is a tough-as-nails roguelike with a lot to offer. Its cyberpunk world, fast combat, and synthwave soundtrack make it a thrilling ride, but it's definitely not for the faint of heart. If you're into games like Hotline Miami or Dead Cells, you'll feel right at home here. So if you're looking for a game that combines retro vibes with modern roguelike mechanics, check out Black Future 88 on the Nintendo Switch. You won't regret it, even if you do die 1,000 times. If you've been craving some good old street brawl action, then you're in the right place. Let's dive into Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons. the latest installment in the legendary Double Dragon series. Released on July 2023 for the Nintendo Switch, this game is packed with nostalgic vibes and modern twist. Set in a dystopian, crime-filled New York City, Double Dragon Gaiden puts you in the shoes of the iconic brothers Billy and Jimmy Lee. The city's overrun by criminal gangs, and it's up to you to restore order one punch at a time. As a classic beat-em-up, this game sticks to the formula we love: side-scrolling action, waves of enemies, and intense combat. Like the old-school games, you'll be throwing punches, landing combos, and busting out special moves to take down your foes. But this time there's a new twist: the tag team combat system. You can switch between characters mid-fight, opening up all sorts of strategic possibilities. Want to mix up your attacks or bring in a different character for a combo? You've got it. So what sets Double Dragon Gaiden apart from the rest? First off, there's a ton of character options. While Billy and Jimmy are your main heroes, you can also choose from other characters, each with their own unique moves and abilities. Want to go in with more defensive character, or someone with powerful special attacks? It's all about customizing your playstyle. The game also has a modernized pixel art style that pays homage to the retro visuals we all know and love, but with smoother animations and a polished look. The best part? You can feel the blend of nostalgia and modern sensibilities in the gameplay. Now let's talk about the story. In Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons, the world is a chaotic, post-apocalyptic New York City where criminal organizations have taken over. Billy and Jimmy Lee have to fight through the streets, taking down gang bosses and restoring peace. The game does a great job of combining the classic Double Dragon lore with a fresh take on the narrative, making it feel both familiar and new. Plus, you'll encounter a variety of enemies and powerful bosses, which is always a staple of the beat-em-up genre. One of the best parts of the Double Dragon series has always been the co-op play, and the Rise of the Dragon delivers. You can team up with a friend in local multiplayer and fight through the levels together. It's an amazing experience when you can coordinate your moves, tag team enemies, and take down bosses as a duo. With the tag team system, playing with a friend takes the action to the next level. You can switch characters, unleash special combos, and work together to defeat waves of enemies. If you've got a partner, this game is a blast. Now let's talk about difficulty. The game has a dynamic difficulty system that adjusts based on your performance. So if you're breezing through levels, the challenge ramps up, keeping things exciting. And for those who want more of a challenge, there are different difficulty settings to cater to players of all skill levels. Plus, Double Dragon Gaiden has a high replay value. With procedural generated elements, every playthrough feels a little different. There are also unlockable characters and abilities to discover, making each run through the game a fresh experience. So how is Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons being received? Well, the reviews have been mostly positive. Critics are praising the fast-paced combat, the improved visuals, and the tag team mechanic. If you love beat-em-ups, or you're just looking for a fun, cooperative experience, Double Dragon Gaiden is a fantastic choice. It's a great mix of nostalgia and modern gameplay that's perfect for both old-school fans and new players. If you've ever played retro games, or you're into the classic world of Sega, you probably remember Alex Kidd, the original mascot before Sonic took over. Well, guess what? Alex Kidd is back in a big way with Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX, a remaster of the iconic 1986 Sega Master System classic. Released on June 2021 for the Nintendo Switch and all other platforms, this game brings that nostalgic magic, but with a fresh new coat of HD paint. So let's dive into what's new, what's retro, and whether this remaster is worth your time. In Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX, you'll be stepping into the shoes of Alex Kidd, the hero of the Kingdom of Redaxian. Your mission? To rescue your kidnapped brother Eggle and take down the evil Jenkin the Great, the villain who's causing chaos in the kingdom. The game plays as a side-scrolling platformer where you'll be jumping, punching, and solving puzzles to make it through the levels. One of the coolest features in the game is the famous rock, paper, scissors mechanic, which comes into play during boss battles. It's all about picking the right move to outsmart your enemy. Simple, but super fun. The DX version of Alex Kidd in Miracle World shines thanks to its gorgeous remastered HD visuals. The environments, characters, and animations have all been reimagined while keeping the nostalgic charm of the original. And if you're a die-hard fan of the classic 8-bit look, no worries. You can switch between the updated HD visuals and the original 8-bit graphics whenever you want, giving you the best of both worlds. Plus, the remastered soundtrack has been revamped to bring new depth to the music while still holding on to the catchy tunes that made the original so memorable. Now let's talk about new content. Alex Kidd Miracle World DX isn't just a simple remaster. It adds new levels, boss fights, and special features to make the game feel fresh. One of the coolest additions is the time attack mode, where you can speed through the levels and compete for high scores. There's also a bunch of new difficulty settings and even the option to rewind gameplay. That means if you make a mistake or want to explore different strategies, you can rewind time to correct your moves. Let's talk controls. On the Nintendo Switch, you can use either Joy-Con controllers in handheld mode or dock it for a bigger screen experience. Plus, if you're feeling nostalgic for some couch co-op, the game supports local multiplayer so you can team up with a friend for some classic platforming action. Whether you're in solo mode or teaming up with a friend, it's a fantastic way to relive the magic of the original while adding a modern twist. Now, Alex Kidd may have been overshadowed by Sonic and Sega's mascot wars, but the character still holds a special place in the hearts of retro gaming fans. Alex Kidd Miracle World was one of the defining titles for the Sega Master System, and this remaster does a great job of preserving that legacy. Critics have praised the game for staying true to the original while giving it a much-needed visual and gameplay update. The nostalgia is strong, and the new content keeps it exciting for newcomers and veteran players alike. That said, the game's classic difficulty might feel a bit dated for some, but luckily there are plenty of modern accessibility features like difficulty options and the rewind mechanic. To sum it up, Alex Kidd Miracle World DX is a fantastic remaster of a retro classic. Whether you're a longtime fan of the original or just discovering Alex Kidd for the first time, this game offers a fun, nostalgic experience with plenty of new content to keep things interesting. So if you love platformers or just want to experience a piece of Sega's history, Alex Kidd Miracle World DX on the Nintendo Switch is a must-play. Whether you're in for the nostalgia or the new fresh features, it's got something for everyone. Next, we're taking a trip back to the 8-bit days of arcade glory with Demon Throttle, a fast-paced, action-packed top-down shooter from Doinksoft and Devolver Digital. Released exclusively for the Nintendo Switch in 2022, this game delivers the nostalgia of old-school bullet hell games with some modern twist. Oh, and did I mention it's a physical-only release? Yeah, that's right. Demon Throttle is a must-have for collectors. Demon Throttle is a top-down shooter that blends classic arcade action with intense bullet hell mechanics. The story follows a demon hunter battling through waves of enemies and powerful bosses to defeat an evil force threatening the world. The gameplay is all about dodging enemy fire, shooting your way through hordes of enemies, and upgrading your weapons to survive the increasingly tough stages. The core gameplay is fast, frantic, and requires quick reflexes. As you blast your way through each stage, you'll face bullet hell-like challenges, with enemies firing waves of projectiles at you. It's not just about shooting, it's about surviving the chaos. One of the coolest features in Demon Throttle is its local co-op mode. Yes, that's right, 2 players can team up and tackle the game stages together. Whether you're working together to take down tough enemies or just trying to survive the insane bullet hell sections, it's a fun way to experience the game with a friend. It's that cooperative strategy that really shines here. You can combine your strength and power-ups to take down some of the more difficult bosses and make it through the tougher levels. And let's not forget about the upgrades and power-ups. As you progress, you'll unlock new weapons and abilities to make you even more badass in battle. These upgrades are essential for surviving later levels where the enemies just get more intense. Demon Throttle gives you that pure 8-bit arcade nostalgia with pixel art visuals straight out of the 80s and 90s. It's got the classic retro look, and if you grew up playing old arcade shooters, this game will feel like a love letter to that era. And then there's the bullet hell mechanics. You've got to dodge a barrage of projectiles while trying to take out enemies. Talk about intense. The gameplay really tests your reflexes and strategy. The more you progress, the tougher it gets. but the satisfaction of surviving those tough bullet hell stages makes it all worth it. Now let's talk about the difficulty. Demon Throttle is tough. There's no sugarcoating it. From the moment you start playing, you'll face waves of enemies and a steady increase in difficulty. You'll need fast reflexes and a solid strategy to make it through. And with its bullet hell mechanics, the game becomes an exhilarating challenge. But there's the thing. It's kind of a challenge you'll want to keep coming back to. The levels are action-packed, and the co-op mode adds the extra layer of fun to play with a friend. So, how has Demon Throttle been received? Well, critics and players alike have been loving it. They've praised its retro aesthetic, fast-paced action, and the satisfying challenge. The local co-op mode is definitely a hit, allowing for a fun multiplayer experience in a classic-style game. However, this game is not for the faint of heart. The difficulty can be pretty punishing, especially as the bullet hell elements get even crazier. But if you love challenging shooters and the nostalgia of an old-school arcade action, you'll absolutely love it. So if you're a fan of retro shooters, local co-op gameplay, and the thrill of dodging thousands of bullets, Demon Throttle is a must-have for your Nintendo Switch collection. Its limited physical release makes it even more special, so grab a copy before it's gone for good. If you're looking for an explosive, chaotic, and fast-paced roguelike, then you're in for a real treat. This is Hellmut the Badass from Hell, a top-down action shooter that packs in shape-shifting demon forms, randomized dungeons, and some serious tough bosses. Released on the Nintendo Switch back in 2019, this game is packed with chaotic fun and a whole lot of surprises. Hellmut, the Badass from Hell takes place in a wild, hellish universe full of bizarre enemies, traps, and epic boss battles. You play as Hellmut, a demon on a mission to fight back against the evil forces trying to take over. The core of the game? Intense, action-packed combat. You'll be dodging, shooting, and strategizing your way through procedural-generated levels, with each run offering something new. What sets this game apart is the transformation mechanic. Hellmut can shapeshift into a variety of demon forms, each with unique abilities and playstyles. You never know what you're going to get, which keeps things unpredictable and fresh. Whether you're blasting enemies with fireballs or summoning powerful demon minions, each transformation brings something new to the table. Let's talk about the key features. First up, the transformations. Hellmut can morph into different demon types during each run, making the gameplay feel unique every time. You could be using the powerful laser shooting demon form in one playthrough, then transforming into a faster, more agile demon in the next. The variety keeps you on your toes. Each run also takes place in procedural generated levels, so you'll never play the same dungeon twice. The enemies, traps, and loot are all randomized, meaning you'll have to adapt to whatever the game throws at you. And let's not forget the epic boss fights. Each stage culminates in a boss battle that requires you to master your demon form and come up with the perfect strategy to take down these massive foes. Now let's talk about the look and feel of the game. Hellmut has this cartoonish, comic book-inspired art style that's bright, colorful, and totally over the top. The humor is really one of the game's standout features. You're fighting in a chaotic world full of ridiculous enemies and wacky dialogue. It doesn't take itself too seriously, which makes the experience all the more fun. The exaggerated visuals and vibrant colors help to complement the high-energy gameplay. Whether you're in a fiery lava dungeon or in an eerie, otherworldly biome, the game's art design keeps things lively and entertaining. One of the biggest draws of Hellmut is its replayability. Thanks to the procedural generation, no two runs are the same. You'll constantly be unlocking new transformations, weapons, and abilities to enhance Hellmut's power for future runs. Every time you play, there's something new to discover, which keeps things feeling fresh. And with the permadeath mechanic typical of roguelikes, every time you die, you'll have to start over. But don't worry, your progress isn't completely lost. You'll earn rewards that unlock new items and abilities for future playthroughs, helping you get further next time. Now, if you're a fan of challenging gameplay, Hellmut definitely delivers. The difficulty curve ramps up as you progress through the levels, with tougher enemies and increasingly complex boss fights. Each level culminates in a huge boss battle where you'll need to use all the demon forms and strategies at your disposal to emerge victorious. It's definitely a game that tests your skills, but the reward for overcoming these challenges makes it so satisfying. So how has Hellmut the Badass from Hell been received? Well, critics and players alike have really enjoyed the game's frantic, action-packed gameplay and the unique transformation mechanic. That being said, it's not for everyone. Some players have mentioned the humor may not click with everyone and the difficulty can be pretty steep, especially for those new to roguelikes. But if you're a fan of intense, skill-based action with lots of variety and humor, then this is definitely a game you'll want to check out. It's perfect for fans of roguelikes, top-down shooters, or anyone who loves chaotic, fast-paced gameplay. Alright, I'm back. I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay footage, as well as the interesting facts and a little bit more information about each of these games, and why I chose to pick them up. I want to share my thoughts on, after playing these games, what I kind of thought and how I felt about each of these games. The one that I enjoyed the most was Double Dragon Gaiden. I enjoyed it because it was reminiscent of the NES games that I was used to playing growing up. It had very deep similarities to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games from the NES era, as well as Contra, which are games that I grew up playing and really enjoyed playing. So I really kind of connected with this game, and it brought back a lot of memories for me overall playing through the hour or two that I ended up playing each of these games. The next game that I enjoyed was Hellmut. It has similarities to Zelda in the top-down views that you got, as well as how the game progressed through each stage as you moved forward. I do have to say, the characters are wacky and often crazy, and the abilities that they have keep you on your toes. It's a very difficult game, but one that I thoroughly enjoyed playing. The next game that I enjoyed was Black Future 88 for its cyberpunk feel and its overall music, and the ability for it to move you through each stage, as well as its weapon choices, which go pretty deep and allow you to upgrade and move on through each stage. One of the games that I had a little bit more trouble with was Throttle. I liked its push through as you progress through each level, and the ability for it to kind of move you forward and progress you with each choice and each decision and each path that you choose. It's always different, and it keeps you on your toes, and you really have to think quick to be able to play this. There is a little bit of a learning curve to it, and so it can be a little bit harder for people who aren't used to those types of games. Alright, so the game that I enjoyed the least was Alex Kidd. Unfortunately, I didn't have much of a connection with it because I didn't have a Sega Genesis console growing up. I do like the fact that it has an 8-bit retro version built in, so you can go back and play the game in its original version, and it adds a little bit of nostalgia to the game. Overall, the game is somewhat difficult, or at least it was difficult for me to progress through, and really catch on and start to play further and further. It was a game that I think probably has a lot of potential. It was a game that really just didn't fit my style overall, and so it was hard for me to get in and play it. I think it's a game that could be good for some of you guys out there because it does bring you back to the nostalgia of that era, and it is good to see it in 3D graphics, and the abilities to switch back and forth make it kind of interesting. Overall, I'd recommend all of these games to anyone if you're interested in them. I think it's by choice, and it's great that I could add these to my collection. I picked them up again from Retro Respawn, so if you see one of these games and they happen to have it, I would highly recommend you go check out their website and pick it up, or buy another game from them. All of the games that I've purchased from them recently have all been in great condition, have not had any issues, and the shipping is generally fairly quick. So depending on where you are in the country, you should be able to get it probably within a couple days or at a week at the most. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe. Leave me a comment if you've played one of these games and you really enjoyed it. For me, I enjoyed Double Dragon Gaiden the most, and we'll probably pick it up later on or play it some more in the future. Is there a game that you'd like to see me play a little bit more and feature in one of my gameplay videos? Leave a comment and let me know. Maybe I'll feature it if there's enough interest in a solo gameplay video and do a little bit more deeper dive. Until next time, happy gaming!